He needs to make a move. He is down to 5 seconds. He plays knight f8.
Chess can be absolutely heartbreaking, and this is the game of the day in the candidates round 7, and we see just that. It's two of the youngest players, Alireza Firouzja with white, battling with Gukesh D with black. Buckle your seatbelts. I love this game. Alireza opens with d4, knight f6, and what does he do? He plays a London. In Toronto, Canada, an Iranian-born Frenchman. He's mixing it all up, and he's just going gung-ho here. Something different. He's dead last with Abasov. He needs a win, right? So we get d5 from Gukesh. e3 played, c5, knight f3, e6. You give yourself a bad bishop, but there are different ideas to develop that one later. Knight bd2, and now my personal favourite system with black is doing this, and you fianchetto the bishop here. Mickey Adams once won a beauty of a game against Karyakin with the black pieces. But queen b6, also very popular. You pressure the pawn, rook here, takes on d4. What's Gukesh got planned? Well, I really like this idea. He leaves the knight at home. Remember this for your own games. And goes bishop d7. Therefore, this diagonal is still cleared, and he wants to trade the bad bishop. Think of French pawn structure here. You know, similar themes, right? And now Alireza, after c3, bishop b5, he stands up in the middle of the candidates hall, screams YOLO, which is you only live once, right, for those that don't know, and flings his h-pawn down the board. Obviously the arbiter comes over and has a word like, Alireza, come on, that's a bit much. But after knight bd7, it gets even better, because not only is he ploughing the h-pawn down the board, he goes rook h3, just reminding himself how rooks move, right? I mean, guess the ELO here. Is this a 2760 Super GM or like 1500, right? Just learning how the pieces move. So bishop e7 is played. h5 from Alireza. He's not done yet. h6 now played. The more chess you play, the more you just know to do that move. You know, it's a much nicer structure than, you know, I don't know, allowing this. And you've got all of these dark squared holes. So h6 very natural. And now this little guy on a2, feeling left out. So Alireza goes a4, just for good measure. We get takes on f1, king captures, keep your eye on the white monarch, because after castles, orthodoxly, now we get king g1. Is orthodoxly a word? I don't think it is. And there's one way to castle right. Now queen c6, good multi-purpose move. Pressuring a4, maybe the b-pawn's running one day, maybe this kind of idea one day, whoops. Different ideas in the air. Knight e5 from Alireza, very principled. We get captures, and now bishop takes possible, but this one much more in the spirit of the position. Giving an imbalance, Alireza wants to fight, and now he goes rook g3, immediately creating a threat. So king h8 played. And although this looks really dangerous, black does have a lot of pieces, still defending that king. Now this pawn tender, so a5 from Alireza, pushing on. We get queen c7, hitting two pawns at once. And taking here is actually a threat. Although you're in a pin, bishop d6 comes to give that knight some backup, right? So knight f3 played, covering the centre, and it gives a pawn, but does allow a draw. This is tantamount to a draw offer. Alireza can take here. Pawn recaptures, and you pressure that pawn, either with queen c1, queen d2, doesn't matter. You're threatening mate in one, king covers, but then you check. And you can get a kind of repetition, right? You never want to go f5 and block, or en passant. Then you get yourself a check here and a lovely candle to boot. Have a look at this one. Beautiful. You win it in this candidates if you ever play an en passant check. Now, coming back here, Alireza doesn't go for any draw stuff. He plays c4. What a lad. He wants to win, and Gukesh covers now. You can't go for this tactic anymore. You know, the whole thing doesn't work because the g-file's cut, the rook swap, draws off the table. We're going to see bloodshed. Now, Alireza's point is you can't take or the knight drops. So that's why we see... Sorry, whose move is it? So that's why, okay, Gukesh didn't take. He went rook g8. Alireza now could take here. Let the ladies come off the board. Gets quite drawish, but once again, he wants to fight. Rook a1, very double-edged. You actually improve that queen. It attacks b2, and now who's really pinning whom? No more takes on d5. The bishop on f4, laterally pressured. So b3 played from Alireza, but knight c5. A move he said after he completely missed. It's very natural though. Attacking, of course, b3, coming away from the pin of the queen, and it's a really fascinating position because after knight d4, which Alireza plays, taking on c4 looks so natural. You know, surely the whole pawn structure just disintegrates. Well, there's an amazing move for white here. This is really not an easy concept to find. You know, what's the best way to play? Test your puzzle rush if you want to do so. If you're just here to enjoy the show, the move is bishop d2, a backwards retreating one, and amazingly the queen gets checkmated. No c3, just bishop takes, supported by that wacky rook. So queen b6, only square, now bishop a5, and still no squares for the queen. Sorry, it's got a6, but you can't come here or retreat back. So queen a6, move the bishop out the way, open the rook, the queen's checkmated. That's just a crazy line. So no takes played. We see knight e4 hitting the rook, rook e3 pressuring the knight, so still you can't take on c4 or your knight drops off the board. So queen c5 played. Therefore, if captures on d5, the queen can take, keep this nice structure intact, right, the old bathtub, and keep your knight supported critically. So Alireza goes rook c1, always x-ray the enemy queen with a rook, never such a bad policy. That's why Gukesh goes for something similar, obviously adds some support to the centre, and now this is Alireza all over. He's so good in tactical positions and just creating a mess. He goes pawn to b4. Fantastic move, distracting the black queen so that then when you take on d5, of course the queen can't take unless it magically transforms into a knight. So you can do this. It was playable, but not played in the game. You know, the rook swings, really cool lines here, stuff like this going on. It gets very messy, very double-edged. Yes, black can start running the a-pawn here, but white also gets play and an attack, and it's just some weirdness, right? Different game. So instead, Gukesh, in not taking the pawn on d5, sorry, stumbling over my words this morning, bit tired, played chess last night, he goes for the awesome move, a sacrifice on f2, giving an entire knight, and it's so logical when you realise the problems white's got, because rook takes on d5, the second rook is doubling, bishop's coming to c5. How do you defend this knight here? Alireza finds the best move, defends, clears e3 for the bishop to come and support, very nice, bishop c5, intensifies the pressure, and how do you defend? You know, say you play some null move like g3. Well, that piece is legitimately dropping off the board here. Take how you want, really. Let's say like this. And when the smoke clears, you're 3 pawns down as white. It's a lost endgame. So that's dropping off. No rook c4, right? What do? There is only one defensive move, and they're in an absolute time scramble at this point. Alireza, though, comes up with the exceptional queen to b3. What a move, because now if you go for that same mass liquidation, will you drop your queen? This is the thing, right? And there's various different lines, different ways to shake it out, but all of it, white emerges okay. So the best way to go, let's come back from the back cave, is queen takes on b3, played, knight recaptures, and you've escaped the pin, right? You solved your problems. Bishop under fire 3 times, so takes with check. Rook recaptures played, and now a5. Gukesh, of course, wants to start running his queenside pawns. He's got the 2 over there, but he's a piece down, you know, literally a piece down now. For 3 pawns, yes, 2 connected passers. That's why the computer gives it level, but in practice, very tough for black to play. The rook invades, hitting 2 pawns. They're absolutely on low time now. I was going to say scrambling, not quite scrambling yet. a4 played, knight c5, great move, rook a8, and the red carpet is rolled out here. Gukesh just preparing to push P. What's Alireza got in the bank? He goes knight d7, and boy is that a tricky move. If you go a3, mistake. Rook captures, this one takes back. You don't just get checked, you get mated, because the knight and rook are an absolute deadly attacking force. This is an Arabian checkmate, so beautiful to see, especially supported by the pawn. With the pawn support, actually, would you call it some kind of Damiano checkmate or something? Forget all the bloody names. Excuse me. Anyway, it's a checkmate. So king h7 was played by Gukesh to come away from those ideas, but huge blunder, as you can see. He did have defensive ideas. King g8 even isn't so bad, just to show one. Knight b6 is a fork threat, but you can check. And if the king attacks both, you know, same time, well, you can support the other one. There are various ways this could shake out to a draw. You know, there's ideas of perpetuals and things, or mate threats. Anyway, different story. King h7 played. Apologies, losing my voice. Please excuse me. And now we see rook f3, a3 on the board, and here Alireza just crashes through to the king. You can start doing desperate stuff, but it gets you nowhere. You know, when it all shakes out, you just do something like this, you win the game. That doesn't work, so instead we get the king step back, but now knight f8. Again, you're getting mated. If takes, still a checkmate. You don't come back here, you double here. Threaten the mate. Here you can play this, but what to do? You just switch back. You leave the pawn covering the square. So here we see a2, but knight g6 check, and Gukesh just loses on time, resigns, kind of both at the same time, right? There's nothing to be done. King h7 is met by this checkmate.
He needs to make a move. He is down to 5 seconds. He plays knight f8, and he's found the checkmate. There it is. Gukesh, he puts his hand in the air. He cannot believe it. Alireza Firouzja has landed a checkmate. Game over. Handshakes. Alireza himself can't believe it, but pure devastation on the face for Gukesh, and you have to feel for him. He's a teenager. This is his first candidacy. He had a shot at the clear lead halfway through. My heart truly breaks for him.
Heartbreak for the young 18-year-old from India, Gukesh. He was joint leading the tournament. He played a great game here, but Alireza shook it up. He's an absolute risk taker. That's why we love seeing him. Can he make a storming comeback? Who knows, right? Really hope you enjoyed. Smash subscribe if you did to never miss a future video. And for another epic game, check out the video on screen. Thanks a lot.